basics of motivation.
Hello and welcome to the Urban Vitality Show. Today I'm lucky enough to have a fantastic nutritional therapist with me. She is a specialist in nutrition for endurance sports and also for people interested in generating more energy. She's local to Chiswick, although she works all over the UK, and it's Jo Scott Dalgleish. Hello, Jo.
Hi, John. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you. Thank you very much for coming on today.
Yeah, no, it's good to be here. Good to have a chance to talk to people.
Good. So, as you know, in this month I'm going to be going on a low-fat diet, and it's largely because probably about 12 months ago we did a little bit of a survey with my clients to see what they were eating, and I found a high proportion of them were trying to eat healthily by eating quite a low-fat diet, like even lower than government recommendations of around 30% of your calorie intake. And obviously I'm on what suits me is quite a high-fat diet. That's not for everybody. And I thought we'd just take the month to reflect on dietary fat and the pros and cons and stuff this month. So you're obviously a nutritional therapist, a very well-respected one. I could just start with the question, does fat make us fat? Because I know that's what a lot of people think.
My simple answer to that is no, fat specifically does not make you fat more than, say, carbohydrate or protein. What makes you fat is eating more food than your energy requirements, okay? And where fat can be very helpful is that it's satiating, which means that it helps make you feel full. So if you do include fat in your diet, you're actually less likely to overeat than you would if you had a very low-fat diet but were eating a lot of carbohydrates in compensation for that, which is less satiating and often leads to cravings for more sugary and starchy foods because it upsets your blood sugar balance.
Okay, so essentially you're saying it's harder to overeat fat than it is to overeat carbohydrate.
Correct, yes.
Okay, so
yes.
that's
so
why.
Even though there's technically 9 calories in a gram of fat and 4 calories in a carbohydrate, it's an awful lot easier to eat 250 grams of carbohydrate than it is 250 grams of fat.
Okay, so that's why the question, does fat make us fat? Your answer would be kind of, no, that's not the reason you get fat. And actually, counterintuitively, sometimes, for some people, eating fat can actually help reduce calorie intake for some people.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, cool. Because what we found with our
but it
clients
needs to be the right sort of fat, which I'm guessing we're going to come on to.
Absolutely, exactly. And when I'm we're talking about fat, that is the big fear, because obviously in the 90s and the 80s the government went on a big campaign to kind of essentially make us very cautious of fat at best, and scared of it at worst. Would you say, is fat dangerous? That's the next question.
Okay, well, if fat was dangerous, I don't think it would have been a core part of the human diet since humans evolved and started following, not even the diet they had today, but a very basic hunter-gatherer diet. So no, fat does not kill you. It can't possibly. However, an excess of calories, which can make you obese, which can lead to a variety of metabolic diseases, which could, in time, lead to your death. Of course, that is a factor. But no, fat per se certainly isn't dangerous, and quite the opposite, in that there are certain fats which you have to eat, you have to have in your diet because your body can't make them. And that's particularly the essential fatty acids that you probably know of as omega-3 and omega-6.
Okay, so are some fats dangerous?
The only fats that you absolutely do not need in your diet, and I would suggest avoiding, are the artificial fats, also known as trans fats or hydrogenated fats, which are made from a chemical process and included in quite a lot of processed food, although I'm glad to say that an awful lot of food companies and supermarkets now are trans fat free, because what they've found is that trans fat can cause metabolic disturbances in the body. Other than that, saturated fats, you need some saturated fats in your diet. Saturated fat is not bad per se. You certainly need monounsaturated fats, which are found in things like olive oil and avocado, which are particularly important for your heart. They have a sort of anti-inflammatory effect. And you need these polyunsaturated fats called omega-3 and omega-6, which have a huge variety of roles in the body, which I can explain.
Great. Okay, so you kind of answered my next question, which is what's good about fat.
Okay, sorry. Well, let me expand on that a little bit.
Yeah, do you want to add anything to that, Joe? So,
sorry?
Do you want to add anything to what's good about fat?
Yes, I would. I think people don't actually realise just how many roles fat plays in the body. You know, the fat that you eat does not all get turned into what we call adipose tissue and deposited around your middle or on your thighs. It actually has a significant role in different ways in which your body works. So, for example, did you know that every single cell in your body has a membrane or a cell wall which is composed of fats? So if you don't have adequate fats in your diet, the integrity of the cell wall is compromised. And what that means in real terms is that all the signals that run your brain and your nervous system won't work so efficiently. So that's one really important role of fat.
Right, okay.
Another role of fat people don't think about is that a lot of hormones start off as fat. The steroid hormones, the sex hormones, so testosterone, estrogen, okay? They all require the fat known as cholesterol, which is found in animal products, which people think is a bad fat. Actually, you all need some cholesterol because otherwise you won't be able to make your hormones. So one of the things that can happen if you have a very low-fat diet is that you start getting hormonal imbalances, testosterone deficiency, imbalances between estrogen and progesterone, for example.
Okay, so the last question is, so I'm going on a low-fat diet in February. It'll be less than 10% fat in my diet. The government recommends around 30% for total fat intake. How do you think I'm going to feel? What do you think is going to happen to my body? I mean, obviously you can't tell, but if you were going to guess, what kind of things, if you had a client who was going to do what I was going to do, what kind of things do you think they'd be talking about at the end of the month?
Okay, the things that come to mind that you might see as quickly as within a month. I mean, a lot of issues that come with a low-fat diet come from following it for many years, okay? But in a short period, you might notice that the quality of your skin diminishes, that your skin starts to feel dry. You might notice that your hair isn't quite such good quality. You might notice that you're actually a little fatigued because fat is actually a major source of energy. It's a very efficient source of energy, not just carbohydrates. And you might begin to feel the impact of a little bit of a hormone imbalance. You know, you might not have some of that, you know, get up and go, zest for life, etc. And, you know, that would be the area that I think you might feel it. And the other thing which could happen is that you could find it harder to recover from exercise because of the way that fats have an anti-inflammatory role, particularly the monounsaturated and polyunsaturated fats. And you also might find that your immune system isn't quite as good as usual because fats play a role in making the chemicals that are involved in protecting you through your immune system. So you might find yourself more prone to colds and coughs, etc.
That is, well, I've got that to look forward to then. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Right, that's great, Joe. Thank you so much. So yeah, well, obviously I'll do this in February. I think I'll show you the results and we'll see what we think. Thank you very much for your time today, Joe.
How you get on.
No worries. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.